Yeah, it is a good episode of the Out of Windbags. RJ Clifford. My God, that's Rory Parsons music. What the hell? What is that? All it takes to get the third man of the crew on the show is the number one overall, a generational quarterback, $90 million in cap space, and your best player in trade drama. And then once a year, we'll get the Englishman to show up and do the show. That's all it takes.
It's optimism season, boys. We're back. We are back. Honestly, it's been great, man.
I can't believe you're here. So, like, everyone knows the story. We started the text chain. You, me, and Soto have been on a Raiders text chain for a decade. And we're just like, let's just make the text chain a show. And you, like, just dipped the tip of your dick in the show. And you pulled out right away and said, I don't want to do it. And then today, you're just like, I want to do the show. And thank God I was sitting down. Otherwise, I was going to pass out while standing, hit my head, and you'd be driving me to the hospital right now. This is incredible.
Well, let's be honest. You guys have asked me a couple of times, right? But the problem is, I know everyone's like this too. The Raiders are my first love, my English soccer team, football team, Aston Villa, one of my first loves. But I work my fucking ass off, just like you do. I know Juan does too. But yeah, it was too much, man. At the time, it was too much to do the pod with everything else. And I thought I'd let you guys do your thing. And obviously, we've been texting for a long time on the Raiders. I'm still obsessed with the Raiders. We're still texting every day about it. So here we are, man. It's like, fuck it, let's do it.
You just had to get some things off your chest that you couldn't do with your thumbs. You just talk with your chest, which I appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, it's been cool, you know, texting you guys on the side, but then actually watching the pod and listening to the pod. It's hilarious because, you know, you guys are saying shit on here and I'm texting you on the side. And it's still the same, just like it was back before the pod. So the fact that you guys are still kicking on with this thing, it's really cool, man. It's awesome. I'm happy for you guys.
We have members as we have some very, very loyal, fantastic members on the YouTube channel. And you're basically the most premium member. Like, we should be charging you $100 a month because everything we do on the show, we've been texting about it for a week beforehand. And you're just kind of like absorbing that extra stuff. So I don't know. Are you either a contributor or member? I don't know. We'll figure that out. We'll see if this leads to more stuff because Soto's a little busy right now. Nothing to like anyone be worried about, but he's got some shit to deal with right now. So send some good vibes his way. If he wants to talk about it, he can. We won't. But nothing. You know, he's fine. Nothing crazy. Don't worry. Don't worry too much. But the big guy's got some stuff to deal with, and so we gave him the night off. Rory stepping in, filling those shoes with those big butt cheeks. So the good thing about having you on here, Rory, is, you know, I've been a radio host for 15 years, and it's like the hardest part of the job is playing the hits but making it different. We just could play all the hits, and it's just a whole new thing. Because Soto and I have been punching each other in the face over the same shit for the last 5 years. We can just go back to square one. Like, okay, Fernando Mendoza's coming to the Raiders. What's the game plan? Play him right away? Sit and learn? Is there going to be a backup quarterback? Is there going to be a bridge quarterback? Is it going to be a little of both? Like, what's the game plan? Because the number one overall pick is unlike really anything in sports. When it's your number one overall pick and he's a quarterback, you have paid for a Ferrari. Now, whether you get a Ferrari is time will tell. But the quality of asset, Rory, that the Raiders are putting into the number one overall pick and getting Fernando Mendoza is the equivalent to 3 firsts plus. It's equivalent to tens and tens of millions of dollars of cap space. It's equivalent to 3 other Pro Bowlers we could trade it for. Like, it's not just a rookie player. It is a massive, massive investment. And it needs to be treated as such. It's not something that you're like the economics of the Raiders completely change once Fernando Mendoza is brought on. Like, everything is now, we need to make this enormous investment work by any means necessary.
100%. I think it comes down to it's your strategy on development, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, is it going to be better with Fernando Mendoza to have him sit for a year? You know, like Aaron Rodgers did. There's other quarterbacks that did it historically, and it seems to prime them for success. Obviously, coming into the NFL, I know you saw the interview with Tom Brady that he did when he was talking about how how much of a shame it is nowadays that quarterbacks don't get the opportunity to sit for a year and that they get thrown right in. And, some quarterbacks sink, some of them swim. If you think development is going to happen by taking your lumps and learning by doing, which is honestly what most teams with the number 1 overall pick do, they start their quarterback, season 1, year 1. Then, he is going to take his lumps. He's going to get hit. He's going to throw picks. He's going to have fumbles. And you live with that. It's all a learning experience. The hope is that he doesn't get so damaged by a bad offensive line or so damaged by a crazy hit like Carr did in 2016, right? Like that broken ankle, he's never the same after that. If something like that happens, God forbid, is it going to stall out his development?
That was a good line in 2016. And it still didn't happen, right?
So it's about that philosophy, right?
Yeah, we all know Tom Brady's and his general philosophy is that Tom Brady has also said in broadcast, I forgot which game it was. It wasn't an interview, but it was like during a Fox broadcast. Mm-hmm. And he was like, teams, they've kind of dumbed down their offenses so they can help develop a younger quarterback. Like it's kind of a shame, but that's what teams do now in 2026 or in 2025. And I'm kind of like, okay, that kind of opens the door a little bit. Whereas when Tom Brady said, I prefer the rookie quarterback sitting to kind of like watch and learn, it feels like he's kind of made peace with the fact that times have changed. That, how about Klint Kubiak, this offensive guru that was brought in not because he's a great leader of men or because he has these great connections or because he can motivate. It's because he's a brilliant X's and O's guy. And he made Sam Darnold an incredible quarterback, right? Like that's what you're brought. Hopefully he's these other things. We'll find out if he is or not. But that's what he was brought in for. So it's like, how about he earns his money by making an offense that Fernando Mendoza can develop in? Because I'm with the let him, like you learn way more playing than on the bench. Way more. Everyone brings up Patrick Mahomes. He sat for a year. It's like, because Pro Bowler Alex Smith was the quarterback. Everyone brings up Aaron Rodgers sitting for years. Yeah, because Brett Favre Hall of Famer was the quarterback. That's not the Raiders situation. It's not like there's going to be a fucking upheaval because Aidan O'Connell started, getting benched for Fernando Mendoza. Like that's not a thing. Like you're in, and also the economics have changed drastically, Rory, where you have a rookie quarterback on that rookie window is just fucking money. It is the Graceland of football. If you have a quarterback on a rookie contract who's even competent, not even good, let's say just average. If Fernando Mendoza is average and he's getting $4 million against the cap, that's fucking gold. Because
that's amazing.
The $65 million a year you'd be spending on him can now go towards the rest of the team. So that clock needs to start ASAP. And having him sit for 2 years figuring it out is just bad economics.
Dude, it's all part of the value proposition of the number 1 overall pick, or even just a first-round quarterback. I know you saw the rumors about Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson's a legitimate MVP. He's a badass quarterback. Like, every team would be lucky to have him. I'm a big believer in him, big fan of his, whatever. But there was a big question online about whether you trade the number 1 overall pick for Lamar Jackson straight up. And there's people chiming in saying you'd need to trade way more than just the number 1 overall pick. And I was like, I wouldn't even just trade the number 1 overall pick because you're still paying. You're taking on that contract. Like, forget all the injury issues, forget everything else. You're taking on that massive, massive contract. And that's going to limit your ability to improve the rest of the team, which is what we so desperately need. The value proposition is not just that we get a badass quarterback finally, that we can grow within a good system. It's literally the fact that QB rookie deal, for 4 years, we know we can build a beast everywhere else. We can build up the lines. We can add skilled players. And this is no one's really expecting we're going to win a Super Bowl next year, even with Kubiak and Mendoza in the first year, right? It's just not real. So we need a solid foundation, a solid building block next year upon which to build. So nail free agency, nail the draft, build this upcoming season. Then next offseason, year 2 with Kubiak and Mendoza, I think we got a legitimate shot of being competitive. I really do.
It's like I sound like a broken record, but I can't stress this enough. The number 1 overall pick changes the timeline, the economics, the direction, everything. right? So it's like, all right, if you bought a Ferrari, right? I'm going to assume a lot of viewers of the Autumn Windbags drive Ferraris. So I'm just saying things you guys already know, right? But if you buy a Ferrari, you're paying $2,000 a year in tires. You're paying $1,000 a year in oil changes. You're paying tens of thousands of dollars a year in insurance. Like, you're throwing a fuck ton of money at it because it's a $300,000 car. And so that's wise money. You don't want your Ferrari in a fucking pair of like 22-inch Yamaha tires. Like, you want that amazing piece of machinery with the best tires, with the best oil changes. You're throwing good. It's a lot of money, but you're throwing good money at it. That's the same thing with the number one overall. Throw $20 million at a right tackle. Throw $16 million at a center. Throw $18 million on a wide receiver one. You know me, Rory. I'm one of the cheapest men on earth. Like, I literally have my keyboard.
Bump those numbers up.
My keyboard has this broken piece. I've been using failed scratch-off lottery tickets to hold up my keyboard because I don't want to buy a new one.
I believe it. I know you.
That's how cheap I am. So you know me saying just throw the empty checkbook at offensive lineman is completely out of the equation. But you're paying $1,000 for tires, but it's a $300,000 car. You need to do that. Throw all the money at whatever it takes to make Fernando Mendoza develop because everything is riding on.
100%. 100%, dude. I think, it's worth mentioning as well with Mendoza, he's not, it's not like we're talking about a number one overall pick where there's a controversy about who's going to go, or there isn't like a bona fide quarterback prospect. Like, he is a legitimate number one overall quarterback prospect. Like, as legit as it comes.
In a shitty quarterback class. He's the only thing.
Regardless, like, everyone knows we need a quarterback. Thankfully, we got the number one overall pick. Like, in previous years where I haven't necessarily been as optimistic going into the offseason, it's because we're sitting at 7 or whatever, and you have no idea who the fuck we're going to draft, right? We know who we're going to draft right here, right now. And I love what I see from him. He's everything you could possibly want in a franchise quarterback. No character red flags. He's wicked smart. I mean, his IQ on the field is as impressive as his personality and his intellect and everything off the field. Like, if there's ever going to be a quarterback that might be ready to start year one, it's this guy. Like, he's pro-ready in a lot of ways. The only way that he's not potentially pro-ready, playing from behind center versus shotgun, and he was doing a lot of, RPO shit. But he's wicked smart. No issues with him picking it up really quickly. He makes NFL pro-ready throws on the regular. Like, the ball pops out of his fucking hand. He throws like deep outs from the far hash with ease, with like pinpoint elite accuracy.
Completely covered wide receivers. He just like outside shoulder. Perfect pass. Guys that are covered. Just perfect.
Pinpoint accuracy with pop, like lasering, right? His mechanics are beautiful. Like, there really isn't too much that you can nitpick on. And he's going into a QB-friendly offense. Like, everyone always says, Klint Kubiak's offense is quarterback-friendly. Because obviously, like, the wide zone running game, like, he's very, very strong on the running game and establishing the run. There's a lot of motions. It's not an easy offense to understand initially. So there will be a challenge there, but Mendoza's up to that challenge. Like, again, he's super smart. But, it's designed to get moving laterally, get the ball out of his hands, spread the ball around. The play action, dude, how long have we been talking about just wishing to see some fucking play action out of our offenses? And like, our weapons that we already have, obviously we're still missing something in the wide receiver room, but god damn it, man. Jeanty in the backfield with a wide zone running scheme, sexy. And then Bowers, are you joking me? I mean, even Mayer, dude. Mayer in the 12 personnel,
yeah.
Gorgeous. I mean, Trey Tucker as well. Like, if you look at how the Seahawks offense operated throughout the playoffs, like, Trey Tucker would have feasted in that offense. So there's just a lot to be optimistic about, especially not just with Kubiak, but with Mendoza as well. So I'm excited, man. As a Raider fan, it's cool to be excited.
Yeah, you got like Rashid doing the Trey Tucker role, or Trey Tucker doing the Rashid role, right? Like there's like the pieces.
Totally.
It's weird. Like with Kubiak's, like you obviously always want a wide receiver one. Like duh. Like we just saw what Jackson Smith and Jigba could do in that offense. Like it's clearly if you have like a big body badass wide receiver X, like it's good. But you don't kind of have to. You don't like have to have that guy. Out of 12 personnel, you have your speedster. You have your 2 tight ends. You have your running back. Jack Besh, I think, is going to feast in this system. He can block great as a wide receiver.
Oh, I hope so.
All the intermediate roles, right? Like, I'll put it this way: if he doesn't like deliver in this offense, like then we swung and missed. I think. Like, I think it's
100%
built for him to do really well.
100%.
Yeah, all those things, man.
Like, he's a 2nd-round pick. That's a big investment in a wide receiver, and it was a little bit of a head scratcher if we're all being honest with ourselves at the moment. I don't think many people expected Jack Besh in the 2nd round. But again, we were talking about Trey Tucker in that offense, kind of looking like he would have feasted last year. Dude, does Jack Besh not remind you a little bit of Cooper Kupp in terms of his play style? I'm talking about like a very poor man's Timu Cooper Kupp. But in terms of physique and like he fits that sort of like being able to run block, being able to catch those sort of over the middle.
He's a broke-ass Puka. Yeah. Like, I don't even want to say poor man yet. He's like super broke. Like, he's on welfare, Puka Nacua. But, like, the physicality, the route running, the hands, again, like, the run blocking, like, such an underrated aspect of wide receivers in Klint Kubiak's offense. Like, it's so important for you to be able to run block. And so, that's also, I think, the biggest thing Brock Bowers going to have to work on. Like, clearly Brock's the fucking gold standard, but, like, I'd like to see him on the sleds a little bit this offseason. Like I like to see him a little, hunting down a linebacker and be able to find that outside shoulder. Because if Brock is and that's only to help Brock. Like if he's a legit blocking threat and you see Brock come at a linebacker and the linebacker has to think, oh, I have to swim move this dude and not all I have to do is cover Brock because he's the most dangerous weapon in the AFC West. That opens everything, right? Brock runs 5 yards into the linebacker into this the shallow end of the field, and you're just like, okay, what is he doing? Is he blocking or is he running around? Like if you give that quarter second of delay in the strong safety's mind, like fuck it, Brock's gone. 12 yards.
100%. I mean, the question with Brock is like, are you really getting the most out of him if you're asking him to block? Because obviously he is one of one when it comes to receiving as a weapon, as a tight end. Even if he hits the sleds this offseason and let's say he has the best possible position coach and he becomes as good as he can possibly be as a blocker, you're still probably going to want to have him out in the flats or running routes up the seams or whatever, as opposed to blocking. But Kubiak made it clear. He made it clear that he expects even his wide receivers to block. Everyone needs to run block on that offense. So you're right, man. Like he's going to get a lot of run blocking work.
If it's a run play, right? Like, needs to block.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to call less run plays or more run plays if Brock doesn't block well or not. Like, and it's only going to help. And Brock knows this, right? He's such a football jock and nerd. Like, he's going to want to be that guy. He's going to want to do the grimy, dirty plays if that's what's asked of him. But that's, like I said, it's only going to open him up in the passing game when he's a key element of blocking. You have to worry about if all you have to worry about is Brock Bowers running routes, you're still in deep shit. If you now have to worry about, okay, is he blocking me or running a route? Fucking forget about it. Fucking forget about it. If you don't know if Brock is running a route or blocking, you're fucked. You're royally fucked.
Yeah.
Corner, linebacker, safety, there's like 3 dudes in the NFL that can cover Brock when you know he's running around. When you know it's 3rd and 17.
Who?
Brock's out what? It's going to take, I throw out an arbitrary number. Maybe 0. He's bigger than all the
honestly,
corners.
I literally don't know.
Linebackers, right? Like, but then you're like,
James,
okay,
maybe
he's like he's lined up in like a wing for like off the tackle, and he runs right at you. You're like, is he running? Is he like doing an out? Is he going in for an out? Is he blocking me?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, man. I mean, his haircut screams blocker as well. It doesn't scream I'm a receiving tight end. It screams I'm gonna fucking pancake your ass.
You can tell he's like a wrestler with cauliflower ear on one side. You can tell which side he tackles on or which side he shoots double legs. He's like the balding's right here. It's like, okay, he tilts his head at a 45-degree angle when he goes.
Can I just say, can you imagine if he happens to go to Turkey? You know what I mean? Like during the off season, he doesn't tell anyone, and he just comes back and he's got a full head of hair.
Just like a giant afro. Like he tries to get like a black guy's hair implants. Doesn't even get his own.
Bullish. I mean, that's always been a knock on him, though. Like, jokes aside with Kittle, people have still said Kittle's a better tight end overall because at the end of the day, he's such a powerful blocker. He's such a good blocker overall. Mm-hmm. Such a willing blocker, let's say, as well. I think Brock's got it in his game. It just hasn't necessarily been teased out of him yet.
And Kittle is in the exact type of offense to get both sides of the coin, right? Like he is also a better blocker because people are so fucking worried about the 49ers play action game that when I remember I played linebacker, pro football versus RJ playing linebacker in 1999. But the point still stands. Like, if there was a tight end coming at me, like, is he trying to block me or is he just doing a slant and go? Right? Like, if I have to think about that, or if that's like a big deal, like that's a quarter of it. You're already a quarter of a step behind. And so Kittle has that, right? Like with their bootleg and their stretch offense and their play action, like Kittle starts running out. Like, is he trying to lay out a corner or is he running a post? Like that helps his blocking. And so same thing with Brock. Like, there's no reason why Brock can't have that advantage too. If you don't know what Brock's doing, he's better at everything.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see how he uses him. He's never had a weapon like Brock Bowers before, and it's a tight end friendly scheme, Fireworks. Honestly, it's just nice to know what the fuck we're doing too.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I feel like every time we've had an offensive coordinator, there's been so much speculation about what we're going to look like in terms of scheme. Isn't it just refreshing to know that we're going to line up and we're going to prioritize zone blocking along our offensive line, and that it's going to be play action heavy, run focused. Like, just knowing that going into the season gives me comfort. I don't think we've had that in 20 fucking years.
Well, it's one of the two. Either we have no clue what's happening because it's Chip Kelly out of college but neutered because Pete Carroll wants him to run something else, and he didn't get the quarterback he wanted, and so it's like a bastardized version of his offense. Or it's Josh McDaniels, which is the same offense he's been running for 20 years and never changes it. So you either have this like super antiquated offense that everyone knows what's happening, or a bastardized version of the offense that no one really knows what we're going to get. You can't just get like a nice middle ground. Just like, give me like something I know what's going to happen, but keep the defense on their heels, And the Ashton Jeanty part, like, no one's talking about this. Ashton Jeanty ran this season, and understandably so, like his O-line was decent. Like he was hitting, he was patient in holes like he was in Boise State. Because you're like, oh, let me find my gap. Let me give my O-line a little time to develop the run, and then I'll find my hole and go. When it's like, sorry, your O-line sucks. Brendan Carroll's their coach, and no one's making their blocks. So the second you hesitated, you got tackled 3 yards behind the backfield because the block you thought was developing was just getting blown up. And so it was weird. It was almost like Ashton Jeanty should have been running like a high school freshman, just like hit the hole because it's going to close. Like, just if you see any daylight, just go, because it's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. But he was running like a smart running back, like a running back with a competent O-line, like develop it and I'll find my hole. Now he needs to be exactly that, right? With the stretch offense, you're either, you're hitting the end, you're cutting back, you're finding your hole in the middle somewhere. It's like what he was trying to do this season didn't work because the O-line didn't develop. And so it's like, hopefully he doesn't keep that bad habit, because towards the end of the season, he started just kind of hitting holes because that was his only choice. You had just go, like, get out of the backfield because there's going to be bullets whizzing by your head the second you touch the ball. Now it's like, go back to that smart Ashton Jeanty, because that's what the offense needs now.
Yeah. I mean, so Ashton got hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any other running back last season, right? And what's truly elite about Ashton Jeanty, if you had to break it down, in my humble opinion, that's
1% of his yards came after contact.
Yeah, crazy. Absolutely insane. And like, if you were to pinpoint one thing about Ashton Jeanty that was truly elite, in my humble opinion, it's his contact balance, which we've seen with Marshawn Lynch and others, right? But what helps contact balance more than anything is being able to move, like forward momentum. You know what I mean? Like if you're getting hit behind the line of scrimmage, you don't have the opportunity to get any of that going. So I don't even think the offensive line needs to go from 31st to the best in the league. You just got to give them a fucking chance. And a lot of that is, we saw players from other teams come out and say that there were certain tells in our offense. So they knew when it was going to be a running play versus a pass play. Like the offensive line was terrible. The play calling was, essentially bed and breakfast level, confused bullshit. And there was tells. Like everything was stacked against him, and he still found a way to look pretty damn good. Like he still looked like the guy that we drafted out of Boise State. Again, it's just more reason for optimism and excitement. I'm excited about it, man.
So what do the Raiders do with QB2? Because are you starting Fernando Mendoza, and so you just want like a backup quarterback, but I would assume you'd also want like a veteran backup quarterback to kind of add some veteran presence to that room? Are you picking up a quarterback to be your starter and you sit Mendoza? Do you keep Geno Smith in this situation? Where does Aidan O'Connell fit in this whole equation? What is that quarterback? What do you want that quarterback room to look like in August, Rory?
This is a tough question. I don't think there's necessarily a right answer or a wrong answer right now. So it's open to, complete interpretation. At the moment, obviously, Geno's still under contract. I was surprised to find out that we only actually save $8 million in cap space this year if we cut him. That's not a whole bunch of savings. You're not going to get a great backup quarterback for $8 million. Which is, that plays into it, right? Like, who even is available currently that you would consider to be a good, viable backup quarterback that'd be able to step in and win some games if we need him to? I don't think there's that many out there that are even like, yeah, we should be targeting that guy. Like Malik Willis, that's not a realistic option, I don't think.
Yeah, he's going to be a starter somewhere.
He's a star, dude. He's going to get paid. So, I don't know. Geno was absolutely horrendous last season, and I truly mean that. He was, I'm preaching in the choir here. We all know how bad he was. But for $8 million with familiarity in the Seahawks offense, where we're not reliant on him anymore, is he a good veteran leader to sort of be there? I don't think so. He's deleted all trace of the Raiders on his Instagram. I don't even know if it's salvageable. But if you were just looking at, would Geno Smith for $8 million and AOC be a viable backup quarterback situation? I kind of think it would be, to be honest with you. I don't necessarily. We've got plenty of cap space. If there is someone out there that makes sense to go out and get, go for it.
Yeah.
But I'm also not completely against the idea of keeping Geno another year, which I never thought I'd be that guy because he was fucking terrible last season. Sorry.
So I brought this up last show. And Soto thought I was hot. And it's my fault because I brought it up, and then Soto gave his retort, but I was looking for the tweets that you sent that when Geno was tweeting about the Super Bowl and everyone was just like shitting on him. I was like, yeah. I was looking for that while he was talking, and my dumb ass was not listening to his retort, so I didn't hear it. I got to go back and listen. But this is why I think keeping Geno Smith makes a lot of sense. And I'm with you in the sense that, like, if there's a better alternative or another guy that has like 8 years in Klint Kubiak's system that's available and you want him, it's like, great, go, right? And financially it makes sense. Like, this isn't me demanding we stick with Geno Smith. But there's a very strong case for Geno Smith, and this is what it is. Like you mentioned, we're only saving $8 million if we cut him. That's not enough to get a good like either a bridge quarterback who's going to start, 8 games or whatever, or like a really quality backup quarterback. That's not enough money. But when you look at, like, clearly he was terrible last season, but if he played like he did in Seattle, he's the best backup quarterback in football. And
can he play like he did in Seattle?
So this is the part of it, though. Ryan Grubb and Shane Waldron were his offensive coordinators in Seattle. They can't hold a fucking candle to Klint Kubiak as an offensive coordinator. Okay? So if he was able to put up Pro Bowl numbers in Seattle with those guys, what could he do with Klint Kubiak? And that's my point. Is like, I know, I understand, and I'm in the same boat. Like, Raider Nation is super sour on Geno Smith for the dumpster fire that he was in 2025.
Yeah, rightly so.
I'm in the same boat. I'm in the exact same boat. But this is an entirely new everything. He's not asking to lead an offense. He's asking to germinate a rookie. He's not playing under Chip Kelly, who's getting fired halfway through the season, and the worst O-line in football, and a mess in the front office, and a head coach and OC that won't talk. He's now got some stability. And again, we've seen what Geno Smith can do with some stability. He's a Pro Bowl quarterback. He was a top 12, top 14 quarterback. And you're telling me for just $8 million of not losing in the cap, we can get that as the backup and a guy that can be in the room with Fernando Mendoza? That sounds like a screaming deal to me. Like, and this is the other part too. If we get the same Geno Smith last season, this next upcoming season, then I think we know Klint Kubiak may not be what we think he is. Because now we have a barometer. Now we have like a test subject. What's it called when you do like an experiment? You have a control group and like the other group. Mm-hmm. Like Geno Smith can kind of be the control group, right? Like he can be the guy where it's like, okay, you were in a dog shit situation last season, you sucked. Now with Klint Kubiak, what are the improvements?
I don't know if he's just damaged goods though. You know, is he truly a control group? If we retain him and we ask him to play some snaps and he still looks like shit, I don't think that's a damning indictment on Klint Kubiak. I think that's a damning indictment on Geno Smith just not having it. You know, he might just not have it anymore, to be honest with you. I think about it from a perspective of when do you actually see a backup quarterback? And it's important to identify that we're talking about a backup quarterback, not the starter with Mendoza sitting. Because if we're talking about a starter game one, I don't want Geno Smith. I don't want to go out into another season with Mendoza as our number one overall pick and Geno Smith starts and lays a fucking egg. Don't want to see it. But if we're talking about a backup that's going to sit there and bide his time and wait, and maybe like week 9, week 10, whatever, he's got to play a game because Mendoza's injured or whatever, he's got to step in. I trust that he would be able to pick up Kubiak's offense and be able to run a quarterback-friendly offense to a much higher degree than we saw this past year with Chip Kelly into Greg Olsen on whatever that mess was. So is it worth the $8 million in savings? I don't know. I'm not inside the building. He might have already said his goodbyes. He might have already, shit on coach's desk and left in a ball of flames. We don't know that. But if he's in the building and him and Kubiak have already chatted, and I think there's worse plans out there. Like I wouldn't want to go out and go get a guy like Minshew and pay him $20 million over 2 years. You know, if that's the alternative, I'd rather keep what we have in house with either Geno and AOC or just AOC plus whoever.
I think we're in the same boat. It's like if you don't like Geno, I'm open to a better, more cost-effective option. You tell me.
Are you ready for a truly disgusting option that will piss one off because he's not on the pod right now?
I know exactly what you're going.
You know exactly what the fuck I'm going to say, huh? I'm for the record, I'm against it.
Yeah.
I don't know where you stand on this, but I would be against it. But it is sort of trending that way, and it's starting to looking a little scary. Derek Carr is actually a year younger than Geno Smith. Do you know that? How crazy is that? He's a year younger than Geno Smith, so he's still young.
Geno tries to look younger with the cornrows, but no one's buying it. You're like, no, man.
What, Geno? Geno had cornrows?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, shit. Guess you're right. But, I mean, that's the thing. There's a connection there with Kubiak from their 2 years together in New Orleans, and he started, obviously, chirping up on podcasts and things like that. For the record, I don't want him back. That's the end of that era.
Derek Carr also said, like, I'll come back for a championship. And it's like, if you're coming to the Raiders, you're not even a starter. You know? Like, you're not.
Right. Who's bringing him back for a championship, too? Get out of here.
But
also, like...
I mean, there's some quarterback-needy teams, man. Like, there's some really quarterback-needy teams.
But, I mean, are they really going to go after Derek Carr if they're that needy? I don't think so. I mean, the way that he left the league too, like retiring just because he got a little bit of pressure from those behind him, I don't know, man. I'm quite happy with that era being in the past and not moving forward with it. But I'd be lying if I said that, the connection with Kubiak, the need for a backup, the fact that he knows that scheme, the fact they seem to have a connection. Crazy things have happened, RJ. I think one might have an annual.
We saw with the Colts last season, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Derek Carr's, how old's Derek Carr now?
34.
34.
It's 34.
10 years younger than the guy who took the final snaps for the Colts. Like, I could definitely see that happen. I could definitely see like Stafford going down in week 12 and then calling Derek Carr or something like that.
I think that's how it would happen. It wouldn't be like, let's bring him in for training camp. I think it would be, hey, week 12, exactly like that. Stafford's gone down. His back's fried again.
And also, I don't think people understand. I don't think a lot of Raider Nation gets just like how sour Derek Carr's leaving the Raiders left the Raiders. Like it was Josh McDaniels' fault to make it that way, to like put all the blame on Derek Carr for a shitty offense. But Derek Carr also handled it poorly. And I think like Mark Davis in the front office was just like, you just left. You just like bounced. Like you got benched and you just bounced. We don't want that back here. Like, I think that's the other part too. Is there's a genuine, and I've been sympathetic to Derek Carr because like literally he was like the quarterback for the worst run of one of the worst runs of the Raiders. Just dog shit coach after coach, literally the worst defense of the decade. Like ESPN ranked like the 2010 like the worst defense of the decade, and that wasn't even a stretch. And he was kind of the face of how bad the Raiders were, despite him being an above average, pretty good quarterback. So I get his frustration, like the same way I get Maxx Crosby's frustration, which we'll get to in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But
yep.
I think that's the big part. It's just like it's not like he didn't leave like Drew Brees.
Yeah.
He left like, okay, well, don't let the door hit you on the way out, Derek. Have fun.
Here's the thing with Carr. You and Soto have obviously had some hilarious clashes on this podcast, but we've obviously had a ton of clashes in this text thread over the last decade talking about Derek, and he splits a crowd, but ultimately he cares. There's never a doubt that he ever cared about what he did and cared about the Raiders. He's a Raider fan, and even when he sucked, like he still left it out there on the line, and he still talks well about the franchise. Like he never trashed us or shit on us.
Yeah.
I'm right there with one on this. I don't want him back even as a backup, but crazy things have happened. And honestly, we haven't really spoken about AOC yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about AOC?
How do you think he fits in the Klint Kubiak offense? Because I thought relatively positively in the sense that like it takes a thinking man. The deep ball is part of it, but not essential.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there were parts of it where he would make sense, but the more I watch it, it's like his footwork's not there. Hitting like those really hard outs and stuff. It's like he doesn't have the arm strength for it. Like I don't know. I don't know. I feel like the brain is there, but some of the physical liabilities are not there.
He definitely had some pretty significant brain farts though too. Like he does frequently as well. It's not like we're talking consistently, but it's tough to ask him to be consistent when everything around him is so inconsistent.
He's literally going to be on his 5th play caller in 2 years, 1 day.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's not real to expect him to develop. It's not a good environment to be developing in, but he does have physical limitations. He's not great on the run. Like we can certainly do a lot better. Let's put it that way. I think we need a better quality, a better standard of backup quarterback. If indeed we're expecting there to be downtime with Mendoza, which obviously would be smart to do, just it is what it is. So you kind of hope to see a veteran come in, honestly, that knows Kubiak's offense, has a little bit of experience running it in the past. But again, are we going to get better than Geno Smith? That's the question mark. We'll definitely get better than what Geno was last season, but how much of that was Chip Kelly to Greg Olsen to all the other bullshit?
Yeah. And again, like Farva's just 2 years into a 4-year rookie deal. Like, he's not going anywhere, right? Like, he's going to be there. It's just a matter of are they going to commit him as the QB3, right? And that's he might not even be part of the roster come like training camp, right? Like, they might draft a 6th round quarterback, pull in somebody who knows the system, like, it's kind of a weird wild card situation for him. But again, if he has stability and a good OC, is he gonna? That's why I've always left a little bit of optimism. Like, the physical limitations are clearly there. We've seen that as best, we've seen that as worst. I don't want to say we know what he is, but we've seen a lot of him for a 4th round quarterback in 2 seasons. We've seen a lot. But once there's stability, what could happen? Like, we keep using Geno Smith as an example. Like, the Geno Smith in the Jets isn't the same as the Geno Smith in Seattle. Like,
let me put it this way. I feel good about him as our QB3.
Feel fantastic.
Exactly. Great.
Give him $1.8 million. Run the scout team a little bit. Be QB3. We still make our Farva jokes. I'm set. Let's get into Maxx Crosby, because I know you really fired up about this. Everyone knows kind of the story. It's just kind of been all smoke with Maxx Crosby so far. Or do you think there's fire? Or do you think there's fire and we're not acknowledging it? Rory?
I think there was a little bit of fire, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you need to stretch to believe that, right? Like, it was pretty. I never really pay attention to a lot of the talking heads, to be honest with you. Ultimately, he left the facility, and we all know Max, he wanted to play those final 2 games. That's not really speculation. You can see him storming out and not being happy about being sat for 2 games, essentially. Max is standard. You can look at it and say, yeah, we want the 1 overall pick. He is very much so the kind of player that is looking at it from a perspective of Hall of Fame. Yeah. Like, he was not content with his sack totals from last season. He saw it as an opportunity to get more sacks. He's trying to squeeze everything that he can out of his career. When he leaves, what does that actually mean? Yeah, he probably talks to a Jay Glazer. Yeah, he probably talks to his agent and says, you know what? I'm actually open to potential options. I can't do another rebuild. All of that can be true. And it can also be true that Rob Leonard, his boy, has now been promoted up to defensive coordinator, which I don't actually think was a move to appease Max in its entirety. I think that was obviously a factor, but I think Rob Leonard is a really bright mind who has this great experience in the past with McDonald from Seattle, and him and Kubiak would have meshed immediately. I think that's all very feasible, but the impact on Max is tangible. It's a real thing. Like, that's his boy, and he gets the opportunity to run a defense for the first time in his career. You don't think Max is going to feel some sort of ownership over that? I think he is. And then also, you look at the other coaching hires, I think one that's kind of gone under the radar a little bit was Travis Smith. So we rehired Travis Smith, who was with us for 10 seasons. He was the assistant defensive line coach. He was the outside linebackers coach. But he was one of the guys that was there for Khalil Mack, and he was one of the guys that was there helping to develop Max. So that's another guy. It's another tie back to the organization. And I think, like me being on the podcast right now, I think there's more optimism going into this offseason before anything's even happened, really, in terms of the draft and obviously free agency. Like, Mendoza is a legitimate franchise quarterback prospect. Kubiak was the top head coach name on the market, and we got him. Like, I get that Max wants to win a Super Bowl. I think most Raider fans as well feel like we want to see him, kind of like Charles Woodson. We'll just be happy for him at the end of the day. But I think he wants to stay now. I think there's enough here where he's got the blinders on. He's no longer, if he was pushing for a move previously or putting out some feelers with his agent, I don't think he is anymore.
So here's the latest from Adam Schefter, and this is literally from an interview he did today. We're recording this Wednesday night, Wednesday the 18th. This is him from 97.5 The Fanatic in Philly. So they're obviously brought Schefter on to talk like A.J. Brown, but they did like one question at the end about Maxx Crosby. We're going to go out of order because of what you just said. So here's Schefter on the Raiders' case to Maxx Crosby.
I think if you're the Raiders, you can go to Maxx Crosby now and say, hey, we just hired this great young coach in Klint Kubiak. We're going to have the number 1 overall pick in Fernando Mendoza. We got $90 million in cap space. You're a Raider. don't you want to be here? Like that doesn't seem like a hard sell to me. Doesn't seem like a hard sell to me. Now he may say, okay, no, I want to move. Okay, well then, you get a great enough package. But any deal involving Maxx Crosby, I would think, for the Raiders to make that would absolutely involve a first-round pick at the minimum.
So Schefter's with you, right? Like if you're the Raiders, this is the case that you're making. Now, there's what we see, and there's the football winning coach fan element viewing part of this. But like most things, whether it's politics, relationships, business, you follow the money, and that's almost always what happens. Maxx Crosby has business deals with Jim Gray, who is involved with the Raiders. Like there's a reason why Maxx Crosby is weekly part of Jim Gray's like Sirius XM show. Not because Jim Gray's some amazing journalist. And Max is like, wow, like I really got to be with the best. Like there's a business relationship there. Maxx Crosby in Vegas in general, with Dana White in the UFC. He has investments in bare knuckle boxing. Like there's close monetary ties to some movers and shakers in the Raiders organization and in Vegas in general. And then also Mark Davis. Like that's why I feel like I'm with you. That's a case if you're Klint Kubiak to make to Maxx Crosby. If you're John Spytek, that's the case you're making to Maxx Crosby. But I think it's all above all of that. Maxx Crosby has like the bat phone to Mark Davis. Mark Davis is a star fucker, loves the players. Like he hired Antonio Pierce because Maxx Crosby told him to, like all this other stuff. It's kind of irrelevant. It's Max is going to go to Mark Davis, and Mark's either going to buckle like he does and says, oh, you want out, Max? You're really cool. Okay. Or Mark's going to say, hey, Max, like you're making good money with this. You're making good money here. We really want to keep you as a Raider. I feel it's going to be decided. I feel it's going to be decided in like some back diner with Mark Davis eating waffles and not like a Klint Kubiak meeting.
I kind of feel that it's going to be more like, all right, Max, we don't intend on trading you, but let's just come to an agreement. If a ridiculous offer comes in, here's what we'll do. We'll chat about it with you. We'll make sure it's a landing spot that you feel good about. There's quite a few teams that we know Max would probably quite like to join and play for. Yeah. And we'll part in an amicable way. I think that it's going to be more like that. And it's going to be dependent on the kind of offer that comes in. Like if someone offers 3 first-round picks right now and a fucking Pro Bowler, like he can have all the ties in the world to Las Vegas and want Rob Leonard to do amazingly well. But the trade's still probably going to happen because that's incredible value for, it's Maxx Crosby. I'm the biggest fan in the world. But, if you look at it on paper, the guy that's had 3 injuries over the last 3 off seasons is in the prime of his career right now. Right. So I think it's one of those where they're like, look, if the offer comes in, we'll discuss it with you. But we want you to be a Raider. I want to be crystal clear about that. Mm. And for me, just to say this out loud as well with Max, one of the things that's really pissing me off, and I'm sure it's pissing off a lot of Raider fans, is we're starting to see all those trade rumors go back and forth online. Mm. And like people are talking about proposed value. So I actually hadn't seen the Schefter interview you just played, but I had seen that he listed the value that was expected and called it basically the Micah Parsons trade. So, 2 firsts and a stud, basically. And you've got all these other fan bases chiming in and, he's 2 years older than Micah Parsons and he's not Micah Parsons, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, he's better than Micah Parsons right here, right now, in my humble opinion, because of one thing that people keep overlooking with Maxx Crosby. He is completely generational, unseen of before for his position when it comes to playing as many snaps as he does. Like he does not come off the field. And that's a massive vacuum of impact that you've got to try to replace with one player. Mm. And you can't do it because no other defensive end is going to play 100% of your snaps. It just doesn't happen. Even when he's injured, you've got to drag him off the field and he's going to storm out your facility. So like he's able to create massive impact still on a game. arguably only second to Myles Garrett when it comes to overall impact. And he's doing it for 99% of your defensive snaps. Like, that's generational. That's why so many other GMs are, probably considering throwing the 2 first-round picks and more at a 28-year-old.
One of my favorite stats is the havoc stat. So it's tackles for loss, interceptions, forced fumble, passes defended, and sacks, because it's just kind of like a havoc number. It's like, are you doing all the important things? And to your point, he's just barely behind Myles Garrett on that list, number 2. He had 15.5 tackles for loss.
That's so insane.
Everybody else. Number 2 is Myles Garrett with 10.5. Tackles for loss, and Soto's been screaming this till he's red in the face, and he's 100% right. Tackles for loss are just as valuable as a sack. They're literally the same. Mm-hmm. You're stopping a guy in the backfield. It ends the down, and it's a loss of yardage. Whether it's the quarterback holding the ball or the running back, what's it matter to the flow of the game? Like, you can make a case like quarterbacks get injured more, and so, but like, as far as like flow of the game, it's the exact same thing. And he gets tackles for loss like nobody's business. And then, he had an interception, 6 passes defended. 6 passes defended. Maxx Crosby getting those big old paws up and throwing down passes.
And we've been saying this forever too. Like, he gets held more than anyone else in the league. He
Double
really does,
teamed.
man.
Yeah,
double teamed. He gets held so frequently.
There's nothing else in the Raiders defense to worry about. If you're an opposing offensive coordinator, you're like, where's Max? Okay, job's done.
100%.
That's
and
it.
This is the thing. Like, Micah Parsons is, I would argue, he's probably a slither better in terms of just being a pure pass rusher. Mm-hmm. Just like freakish athleticism, right? And you can line him up all over the place. Just, we're being honest about it. Not to say Max is bad in any way. He's unbelievable. I couldn't be more of a fan of his pass rushing ability. But Micah Parsons doesn't defend the run like that. Mm. Like, Maxx Crosby does everything at an elite level, and he's still only 28. He's in his prime. You know what I mean? Like, he's a very, very rare player, and those are worth a ton of capital. Like, if you put Max on a Rams, or if you put Max on a contender, he pushes them over the edge. Is that worth 2 first-round picks? Of course it is. Of course it is.
And that's why I think Schefter is like, they want a Micah Parsons number. And that's not because the league thinks Maxx Crosby's as good as Micah Parsons. It's because we don't have to trade him. It's like, you're going to need to do that for us to say, okay, we're ready to move on. Like, Max doesn't have like a no trade clause in his contract. Max could be as pissed as he wants. Like, players are pissed every single season. And 95% of the times they still play, right? Like, guys are disgruntled all the time, demand trades all the time. And sometimes it happens. But like, Micah Parsons didn't get traded because Micah Parsons was pissed. Micah Parsons got traded because Jerry Jones was over it. Jerry Jones's patience ended. And then they traded Micah Parsons. So if the Raiders are just like, the only reason this is a conversation we reach that number is because, like, okay, Max, if you're that pissed, go out there. Not us, Max. You tell your agent to go out there and find a number. You tell your agent to find a team that'll give us 2 firsts and, a defensive tackle we desperately need, and then we'll come to the table. If you're that upset and you think you're that valuable, you go find the bag, and we'll decide if we'll move or not. Because I've said it a million times, man. I hate being a Debbie Downer, but it's the truth until I'm proven otherwise. The last 20 years, the Raiders have been a dysfunctional franchise, and players don't come here and play better. Geno Smith played worse than he did at the Jets after 3 good years at Seattle. Gardner Minshew was the worst quarterback in the league with us when he was a average quarterback in Jacksonville. Like, guys don't come here and play better. They play worse. It's the very rare special athletes, Brock Bowers, Josh Jacobs, Maxx Crosby, where it's like, I don't care where the fuck I am special, I'm going to produce. And we need those guys here. We're not the Eagles. We're not the Rams. We're not the Vikings. We're not the Niners. We're not teams where guys like their careers just revitalize here because it's a great system and all these other great players and they play so much better. It's like, that's not the Raiders yet. It's not the Raiders yet. And so Maxx Crosby to the Eagles, I think they'd for sure move on for a first and a second because they'd get 2 new Pro Bowlers to replace him and all that cap space. To the Raiders, it's different. He's a proven commodity. He's special. Any defensive lineman, any end or tackle that comes to the Raiders, you're just fucking belly up to Max. Do what he does.
Yeah.
And you'll be set. It's different here. It's very, very different now. Right now, it's very, very different.
Honestly, as well, dude, think about it from a perspective of off the field. We've got a young coaching staff. Rob Leonard being obviously the defensive side, but Klint Kubiak too. He's a player's coach. You saw that with how he was sort of communicating with the players in his press conferences and things. He needs that veteran leadership. He needs an ally in the locker room. And Max has no red flags off the field. He sets the tone. He works harder than anyone else. Yes, is it reasonable to expect his play to diminish slightly as he goes into his 31, 32, 33? Yeah. But he's also the kind of guy, because of how hard he works, that he is going to be able to sustain a very high level deep into his career. Right? So my pitch to Max, if I was the GM, would be, obviously this upcoming season, we have a first-time head coach. We've got a first, rookie quarterback. I don't think Super Bowl is Lombardi's not in your future this season, Max. But if you look at it in terms of next off season, I think that we have a genuine shot at being competitive, and you're also going to get a chance to play for Rob Leonard. You're going to get a chance to play for Klint Kubiak. If you don't like what you see, next off season's the off season to move you along. Raiders aren't going to get as much compensation for a 29-year-old as you got for a 28-year-old. But worst case scenario, Max, we're going to get you more help on defense than you've ever had. You're going to be working with the guy that knows you best. Worst case scenario, you're going to be able to rack up some really, really good numbers towards your Hall of Fame career. And if you don't like where this is going next off season, fair enough. But we're building something special right here, right now. And you're a big part of it. I want them to actually build around Maxx Crosby instead of investing in the offense. If you look at our draft picks over the last 3-4 years, it's all been offense, dude. Our early day 1, day 2, it's all been offense. And there hasn't been a lot to show for it. We do have, Bowers, we've got Jeanty, we've got some studs. That more needs to happen there. But can you imagine if we'd invested in defensive line or some decent linebackers or a legitimate cornerback before day 3?
What if just Christian Wilkins didn't go off the deep end? Those 3.5 games, it was a different defense. It was a completely
100%.
different defense with just one other good guy on the line, just one other good dude. It was completely different.
It really was.
Look, the only pushback on that is I think the rush, pardon the pun, the rush is to get the offense up and running because of the Fernando Mendoza situation. You need to create an ecosystem for Mendoza to flourish ASAP because the clock is ticking on his rookie contract deal. You need him to develop as fast as possible. You need to get as good as fast as possible. You have to get the best situation fast as possible. Like I said, he's the Ferrari, and that right tackle is the new tires. And that wide receiver 1 is the oil change. You need to do the supplemental investments on the quarterback. So my pushback would be yes, I think you do rush the offense, but I think you let the defense move at its own pace because offense has to be priority 1. Throw the bag at Linderbaum at center. Throw the bag at maybe Pickens or someone at wide receiver 1, and we're going to need another guard. That is priority 1 purely because of Fernando Mendoza. The defense, obviously it needs a fuck ton of work, but the timeline's a little different with the defense.
Yeah, I mean, look, we need a couple of our day 1, day 2, day 3 picks, especially day 1, day 2, obviously on the offense to start producing. We drafted 2 offensive linemen in the 3rd round last season. 3rd round for an offensive lineman, you should be getting production very early in their careers, typically, right? You see guards found in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round starting all the time and holding their own. There's no reason Rodgers and Grant shouldn't be producing at this point. I'm hoping, with a better offensive line coach and a better offense and just better everything, this is a big step up year for them. Yeah. I would, same as you, man, I would attack the offense with free agency, all of that cap space. That's where I'd like to try to invest a lot of that cap is on the offense because I'd like some more defensive studs on defense. young players, dynamic players that can grow with Rob Leonard. Because if you look at both our cap spend and our draft capital spend in the recent future, it's been mostly offensive players. And we need to I'm not saying it needs to be more so defense, but we got to bring that pendulum back towards the defense a little bit and build around Maxx. And again, the expectation is not a Super Bowl next season. Like, just establish some building blocks, get some production out of him year one, like build for that year two competitive run. I think that's reasonable.
Well, we're already in an hour, Rory.
Let's keep going, man.
I mean, you're on here once every 18 months. You tell me. What else you need off your chest? What's going to explode out of your chest if you didn't get it out right now, the next year and a half?
I think we covered everything, man. As I said, it's a good time to be a Raider fan again, which is fun. It's awesome. Like, I miss being optimistic about it. And it's not like that fake sort of optimism that you get most off seasons with just the unknown. I feel like we actually have some knowns. So again, I feel pretty damn good about it. The only thing I don't even want to put it out in the world, in the ecosystem. But Mendoza's throwing for his pro day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that scares the shit out of me, man.
Because it could only make his stock go down because your stock's so high.
Not even. Like, I'm worried. God forbid, I'm not even going to say it out loud, but I want to wrap him in bubble wrap. I don't want him throwing. I want him sitting on a couch, lifting weights during the day, eating right, figuring out how to play under center and working on his vocal cadence. And that's it. I don't need to see him throw. It was actually really cool of him. He was saying he wants to help out his wide receivers and make sure they get drafted. Which is...
I want him down in Colombia getting stem cells. I want to get one of those full body infrared machines that he just like sleeps in all the time. I want like 3 massage therapists just like rotating on his ass because he's not going to pull a Deshaun Watson and try to get jerked off because he's still a virgin. He's like legitimately just get like constant massage and rub downs. Yeah,
pretty much. I mean, pretty much. Like, it's scared. I'm definitely going to watch that pro day, obviously, and you and I and Juan are going to be texting about it the whole way through. But we've seen enough. We don't need to see any more. The only thing that I thought was weird that I saw yesterday was, I forgot, what did you guys call Florio a couple episodes ago from PFF?
We have many names. We have many names for Florio.
What's your favorite?
I like Dick Cheese just because it's old school. I actually find Florio as an asset because I'm the ultimate optimist in life because he is an attorney. Like, he's really good for like contracts, and there's like certain things where you're just like, wow, like no one else is giving us this level of coverage. Like, he fills a necessary role. Florio's problem is he wants to be a hot take machine, and that's not his strength. Like, he wants to be Stephen A. Smith. Like, why would you want to be that? Like, why would you want to be another hot take machine when you fill a nice role? You fill a really, really nice role with your legal experience. Just be that guy. But he just wants to be a negative Nelly about everything.
I think his problems is the fact he's an asshole. Like, he's just like, he says everything with such a fucking like smugness. Have you seen that South Park episode where they fart in a wine glass and smell it? Like, he's that kind of guy for me.
The Academy Awards, and it's the cloud of smug floating.
That's literally, Florio would be that guy for me. I've disliked him since the Carr days. Like, even before Carr went shitty after 2016.
That's the best example. It's like he was just wrong. He's like, this season Carr's getting traded, and he said that for like 5 seasons. Carr's getting traded this season. It's a done deal.
But either way, I don't really pay that much attention to him. But I did see on Twitter, he brought out an opinion. He said basically he wouldn't be surprised if Jim Schwartz still ended up on the Raiders coaching staff. And that's after we've hired Leonard. I just thought it was, that's interesting. You think that would happen?
That sounds more like, because I believe he predicted that when Schwartz walked away. And so I think that sounds like more like him doubling down on a bad take. Where it's like he had a bad take. It's like, oh, Schwartz is going to go to the Raiders, and they hire within Rob Leonard, which we haven't talked about this, but like I wasn't wowed by that hire. But it's like, other than Schwartz, who would the Raiders reasonably get that would get me excited? Because like Rob Leonard, it's like everyone's like, well, he deserves it. He's put his time in. It's like, I don't give a fuck what guys deserve. I want to know who's the best possible guy for the job. Who's the best possible like we always talk like In the UFC, you're like, this guy deserves the title shot. It's like, there's not a deserve or not deserve. Who's the most deserving? Who has done more than anybody else? That who deserves, like, well, he has 6 wins in a row. It's like, well, the other guy has 8. Oh, he has 2 top 10 wins. The other guy has 3. Don't look at it at like from the perspective of Rob Leonard. Look at the perspective of the Raiders. Like, who's the best? Who should potentially give the Raiders the best defensive coordinating possible? Not, well, the guy's been here so long, he's put his time in. We don't want to hurt his feelings. Let's promote him. But at the same time, it's like, who else would we have gotten realistically that's so much better than Rob Leonard? So that's why I'm a very wait and see with Rob.
I push back on you and one on this because I thought, for me, I'm in optimism phase. So Klint Kubiak's done nothing but inspire confidence so far, both with what he did with the Seahawks, an amazing Super Bowl. Like, he's just absolutely nailed it all the way through. But then I was also really impressed with him during the presses. You know, a lot of the time it's just bullshit. Or like Pete Carroll last year is always going to be Pete Carroll. I didn't really know what to expect from Kubiak, but he really impressed me. He's a very down-to-earth dude, very intelligent. I love the way that he communicates. Like, wasn't flustered at all, was on the plane the next day with his family. Felt really good about it. So I'm of the opinion that he is to be trusted until he's proven that he's not. So I think, you know, we interviewed so many defensive coordinator candidates, which I love. Like, see who's out there, chat with everyone, even if you've got no intention of hiring them. It's still great to sort of talk shop and learn about philosophies and how they'd set up a defense or who they like on our roster right now, whatever. And they had the opportunity to interview Rob Leonard amongst all these other out-of-house candidates. And I don't know if you saw the clip from the Rush podcast, right, with Maxx Crosby, when he was talking about Rob Leonard and it was Max was talking to his bro, and he basically said during the Super Bowl, Leonard was texting Max saying, like, look, this is going to be a nickel blitz. He totally understands the scheme. He understands Mike Macdonald and what he's looking to do. So he understands Mike Macdonald's tendencies. He understands the scheme. He's worked directly with Mike Macdonald before, who obviously Kubiak really looks up to and really admires. I can see them just hitting it off like a house on fire in that interview. Like, he knows the building. He knows Max. He knows how to get the best out of the players that are already there in the building. It was a little bit of familiarity, but it was also a young name that's well respected.
Does he know how to get the best out of the players in the building? Like, who has he developed? Like, Max was good before he got there. Like,
I don't know. I feel like if you were around the team as frequently as he is, he's worked under Patrick Graham. He's worked under some really damn good defensive coordinators. It's not like he's, you know, fresh off the street and hasn't seen shit. Like, he's had the opportunity to work under different coordinators, different schemes. Yeah. And I think he's probably got a really good read of who is and who isn't, you know, a player that he wants to work with in that defense moving forward. I like to think that that's the case. But I see your point. It's not like it's a slam dunk. It's not like there was a Vic Fangio that was available.
Yeah.
Right? I just don't think it was an instance of us trying to get someone not being able to and then settling on Rob Leonard. I think that he was the guy. I think he must have hit it off.
It was Schwartz and then a Grand Canyon of space for who the second option was, to me. There was no like, this is our 1, 2, 3, and 4 pick. It was like Schwartz and then all the other good defensive minds. They weren't budging unless they're head coach, you know, like everyone else is just kind of staying put.
I just don't know if Schwartz is that slam dunk guy though. You know, I don't,
dude,
he was the best available on paper.
Get the Browns defense to play well. The Browns, the dog shit. And there was some talent on that defense, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a dog shit franchise. I always talk about this all the time, man. People are like, man, like, you know, LaFleur in Green Bay is playing so well. Like, Green Bay is one of the easiest places to be a coach. It's a great run organization, and there's always a good quarterback. You know, like the Niners, really well run organization. You know what I mean? It's like yeah, the coach is great, but it's like it's a great place to be a head coach. You know, it hurts to say it, but like the Chiefs, like, guys find a lot of success there. You know, to be successful with the Browns, that's like Joe Burrow making the Bengals go to the Super Bowl. That's that's how I knew. Like, that's why I think Joe Burrow's the best player in football. Like, you got the fucking Bengals to the Super Bowl in your second year. Like, that's something special. Like, that's fucking hard to do, man. Like,
I know we're running late here, but you've just said Joe Burrow. It's just reminded me of something. Is this not pissing everyone else off? But some of the comps coming back in for Mendoza are driving me insane, dude. If I hear Jared Goff, like it's like a backhanded compliment. It's like, oh, he's like a Jared Goff. He's like a Matt Ryan. I even heard Matt Schaub, like game manager. They're basically saying that he's got a weak arm and he's a game manager. It's driving me insane, dude. His comps, I know you guys pulled it up a couple of weeks ago, but Peyton Manning, that if you look at his draft profile, it's literally Fernando Mendoza. He's the same size. It's basically Peyton Manning with wheels. And then I actually quite like Lance Zierlein. He's a writer with NFL.com. Mm-hmm. I always use the draft profiles that they do. It like puts all of their combine numbers in one place, puts all their stats from college, all their accolades, any injuries. It's just a nice data point to have amongst all the others. But usually his write-ups are pretty good in terms of strengths and weaknesses. And you know who his comp was for Fernando Mendoza, who I actually agree with? Joe Burrow. It's like you've got the Joe Burrow, Peyton Manning comp, and then you've got the Jared Goff, Matt Ryan, like not quite as great. And dude, I even heard today someone that was making the rounds on Twitter. It was I've never heard the guy before, but he got reposted a couple times. He was saying that Mendoza isn't quite as good of a prospect as Drake May was coming out. Like, am I living in a Twilight world? Like, in what world is that the case?
The only thing I can think of is because Fernando Mendoza was on such a powerhouse of a team. Like, it was Indiana. We all heard the story. Oh, it's all 3-star players. But it's like, that was a well-coached, amazing football team. Like, they butt-fucked everybody. Everybody, right? Like, that was a powerhouse. Offensively, defensively, running the ball, special teams, like, and of course the pass game. Fernando Mendoza was a massive part of that, right? And so you have Drake May coming out of a smaller school, and I think that's the one thing that some people maybe look at.
No,
no.
Drake May, I want to say 6'4", so similar frame. He's tall, but he didn't check anywhere near as many boxes as Mendoza. Mm-hmm. Like, even just, if you could pinpoint so many different things, but I mean, the one I always go back to that reminds me of the Joe Burrow season with the Tigers, he's like 39 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in the red zone. Yeah. Like, this is a generational, like, home run.
When the windows are this tight, you're still going exactly where it needs to go.
And honestly, man, his wide receivers were decent this year at Indiana. But we're not talking about those Tigers wide receivers. You know, he didn't have Justin Jefferson and Chase. You know what I mean? So it's such a lazy narrative that I keep hearing, and it's driving me insane.
It's like Oafy white guys. They just throw them in the Oafy white guy category.
It's just so lazy. It's so lazy, man. Just do the actual homework. Everyone's just hopping on this narrative. And again, this weak arm thing drives me insane too. We started tuning into the college football playoffs, and I was looking at that specifically. Like, fuck, you know, is this guy's arm, you know, just average, above average? Is that something we're gonna have to scheme around? And like within the first couple of drives, I was like, dude, he was throwing outside hash throws, like lasers, with the ball popping out of his hand with a really crispy, clean release. He throws a tight spiral, and it's effortless. And then he threw a deep ball. It was like a 40-yard deep ball, right? It's not like it was 70 yards or anything. It's not Joe Milton. It's not like Josh Allen. But it was an effortless deep ball. And it was with touch, too. It wasn't like he was putting everything he had to put on it. He put the perfect deep ball in stride with the perfect amount of touch on it. Which always, dude, that used to drive me insane about Derek Carr. He used to have this sort of like flick off his back foot thing going on, and he had a really strong arm, probably underrated arm, but his deep balls used to arc like fucking moonshots. And it often looked like it was underthrown. So even though he had this huge arm, he didn't know how to use it. Mendoza knows how to use it. Yeah. Like it's such a lazy narrative, but hey man, I'm excited.
Well, and I think and Tom Brady's so big on this, right? It's like the pure tape guys where it's just like, all right, what's his 40 time, what's the arm velocity, all that kind of shit. I forgot which game it was, but they were talking about how, I think it was the first playoff game, how Fernando Mendoza, before we went to Indiana, he asked the PR team of Indiana, give me the photos and numbers of every player on the team so I can know who I can recognize them before I get there, because he's that type of leader. I feel like that's one that made Tom Brady jizz his pants. And once I heard that story, I'm like, back then there was still like a 20% chance that the Raiders might go another direction, maybe trade the number 1 overall. Like that was still like part of that was legit. That was a legitimate conversation. It was a legit. Now it's just everyone knows what's happening. Back then it was a legit conversation. What are the Raiders going to do with number 1? Is it Mendoza is the favorite? But once I heard that story, I was like, done. There's no way Tom Brady hears that story and says, yeah, I don't want this guy. Because that's what Tom Brady looks for, right? The ultimate team player doing his homework above and beyond, like an entrepreneurial thinking. Like, who told him to do that? That's not on a checklist somewhere. Like, you don't go to like Chat GPT and say, I'm a quarterback on a new team. What do I do? Like, that's outside the box thinking, and that's in a pure leadership, selfless way. And I think that's going to be the key. And that's what's going to be most important if the Raiders still take a while to kind of like get together. Because, Kubiak's going to have the X's and O's. Can Kubiak be a leader of men and a culture changer? Hopefully, but who knows, right? It sounds like they didn't hire him to be that. Tom Brady and Spytek, I think, are taking that on their shoulders. So Fernando Mendoza might have to shoulder that for a while, right? Guys are showing up late, no accountability. Guys are nipping at each other. Not everyone's rowing in the same direction. Fernando Mendoza seems like the perfect guy. Just handle it. To be a bulletproof vest for all the bullshit for the rest of the team, which is what it needs.
One thing rookies sometimes don't get the respect because they got to prove it. Like what he did in the championship game with that run, he'd already got the first down, man. Like the toughness, the grit, that's how you get veterans behind you. Like I'm so bullish on him. I think he's just, I'm so thankful that we're in the position to be able to draft him. And finally, dude, it's been 20-something years. We finally got a franchise quarterback.
Only the second time we had the number 1 overall pick and drafted a quarterback. What happened the first time? We're not going to talk about it. I think that's enough for us. We have a deal with my buddy. One of my bosses and best friends at the UFC, diehard Charger fan, had Charger tickets his whole life. And he's like, okay, I won't bring up Jamarcus Russell if you never bring up Ryan Leaf. Like, done deal. We've had an armistice for the last 10 years. Like all the we'll go as low as you can shit talking each other. Neither one of us will use the nuclear option, because why do countries never nuke each other? Because you can get nuked back. And that's where we're like, nope, not going to do it. We'll go low, but not that low. It's far too low.
Fair.
Well, Rory, this was exhilarating.
Fun, man. Yeah, it's been
exhilarating.
Fun. Just chopping it up like old times.
Just chopping it up, man. Just the text chain in real life, just with less gratuitous nudity and less slangs.
There you go.
We'll clean it up just for YouTube. We'll keep you guys abreast of everything that goes on. We'll keep track of everything moving forward. Maybe this will lure the Englishmen back in for another time, less than 2 years from now. We'll see. But until then, knock on wood if you're with me. Hey, look at you making it to the end of our video. Congratulations. You can go ahead and click the next video, or if you're feeling wild, subscribe.